Good afternoon, evening. Good evening and welcome to Cheese Room, lovely people. What a momentous week this is in the week of Spurs history, we hope. And joining me, and speaking of momentous, we have a great panel today, and I'm joined by Mark on his Cheese Room debut.
It is my Cheese Room debut, yeah, thank you. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me along.
Dressed for the occasion as well, I see.
Yeah, Mari said on Twitter, didn't he, that he's going to wear the Conte suit. So I've got my badge. You know, you can't really see it, but yeah, I'm here. Black shirt, black tie, black suit. I look nothing. I'm as far away from Italian looking as you can get, to be honest with you. But we'll go with it. We'll go with it.
Very suave, very suave. Speaking of suave, a man who has been seen running around naked, covered in pasta sauce around Joe Louis land in Orlando. It's Mari. How are you, Mari?
I am buzzing. I got my Conte suit. I got my drink. And it's say Conte. Woo! Yeah, I am ecstatic. I haven't felt this good since Amsterdam and the 6-1 United when we beat United 6-1, but really since Amsterdam. I'm on cloud 9. I'm loving this. I'm speechless. I'm just wow. If you told me last week at this time, gosh.
You're eating humble pie, aren't you, Mari? Because you were like, no way, it's not happening. Conte would never come to Spurs.
Yeah, because it was like a pipe dream. I was like, no, it's not going to happen. But when there's a lot of smoke, there's fire, and I was just like, I gotta believe. And then I went on someone's stream. I kept singing "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey. Don't stop believing. I think it was Bob Spur's show. Don't stop believing, and it happened. It happened.
It did indeed. And also back on the Cheese Room, we've got Jamie J Balls.
J Balls, yeah.
And he's bringing back the curtains today. Not quite.
Yeah, man. Hair's so long.
It's almost the Conte haircut. He has got some good hair going on. Yours is real. That's the difference. But
I was going to say, I thought I was an install. It's not a comb over. Don't worry.
Mine's getting there, to be fair.
No, Shan, I'm excited to be here. I can't stop smiling since yesterday. I've watched Conte's interview probably around about 10 times now. I've got a problem.
We need more content. We need more Conte content, don't we? They're not giving us enough.
I feel like we already start speaking Italian.
Literally,
I to kill him.
I've listened to the Italian national anthem about 10 times, and I even tried to learn the words, but it weren't happening. It weren't happening. Oh, and we've got another special guest. Also eating some humble pie, and I believe getting a very special tattoo tomorrow at 10 o'clock. It's the Mr. Daigle. How are you, Brian?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm actually, what started off as a crazy bet, I'm actually really, really looking forward to. I'm actually really, really looking forward to it. It's all booked in. I'm a man of my word.
You booked it already? Oh my God.
I'm having it done tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Oh, wow.
All right.
I'm having it done at 10 a.m. tomorrow. The weirdest thing, when we went to get it, Ben and I went to the first tattooist and just asked for a quote, whatever. And they said, when are you looking to have it? And I said, like, now or tomorrow? They're like, well, we're not booked. We're fully booked till Christmas. I was like, funnily enough, I'm not going to fly back to Toronto so we went. So we called up another place, and they had availability tomorrow. Tomorrow and today. The only reason it didn't happen today is I had to have my COVID test to fly home. So we said, listen, can we film? They're like, yeah, it's fine. It's a footballer that actually owns this. And we're like, okay. And it's Jake Livermore's tattoo shop.
Oh, wow.
No way.
Oh, wow.
So we got talking to them for a bit. So yeah, I'm here for literally 20 minutes because Danny Kyriakou is coming to see me, and we're going to go out. It'll be the last time I get to see him.
Nice.
So yeah, but how is everyone? Shan, I have to say it was lovely seeing you on Saturday, darling.
Yeah, good to see you too, as always. Not the result we wanted, but I somehow feel like it was totally the result we wanted. Oh, it was the result we needed, I think. So coming on to that, we're not going to talk about the United game because we've all seen that Ronaldo is basically keeping Ollie in a job, and long may he stay. But with Nuno's gone. I really want to know how you guys feel about it. Do you think it was too soon? Do you think he should have been given more time? Obviously, without knowing it's Conte that's replacing him, how did you feel when that news broke? I'm going to come to you first, Brian, because I know you haven't got that long, and I know you talk for a while.
For a while. But the fight isn't over still. It's not so much as obviously we still want him out, but he's got to be known that you've got to stay this way. It's not just pull one rabbit out of the hat and it's all forgiven. But look, I kind of, the news broke when I was at the We Are Tottenham TV studios, and it was like that. It was the meeting was for his future, so that started the ball rolling. Thinking, okay, what's going on here? What are we doing? And when you take the footballing, I know split it to footballing and non-foot. On non-footballing, you look at it. He was the 9th choice, or whatever he was. It happened after 75 days. The man walked into the job, and no disrespect to the other teams he walked into, but the first thing he had to deal with was the best striker in the world asking him to leave, or had already asked. So he had to deal with that whole saga. Think we didn't get all our targets, I would say, the transfer window. I don't know which other ones went under the radar. We didn't get them all. And he wasn't back properly. So on that kind of side, it's really, really harsh. Because a manager should always get a bit of time and whatever. But then when you look at it on the pitch, the lack of substitutions and the wrong substitutions, the game management, the stupid stats about lack of creativity and shots on target, 4 straight London derbies defeated, and the scoreline is humiliating. And just the sheer the players didn't look like they were playing for him. He looked like on that side. If you just look at the foot, he had to go. He had to go. And then you weigh it up, and then it's also, if you don't get Antonio Conte in, I don't care if we were top of the league with Nuno, you get Antonio Conte. So I feel very sorry for Nuno, the person, and what happened, but what happened in his tenure wasn't acceptable.
Yeah. Jamie, what do you think?
I was just saying to the guys at the backstage, I felt bad for him, but then I realised his compensation, so I don't feel as bad now.
Yeah.
14 mil.
So, but no,
Well,
it's quite.
I've
It's
seen
quite
a few
sad.
different numbers, but banded around. But if it's 14 million for 4 months' work, he hasn't done too badly, has he?
No, it doesn't. I do feel quite bad though. I feel like because I was reading stuff saying that he got the smaller office. He didn't get the office that Jose got, and I don't know if it's true or not. And maybe it was just a stopgap. Maybe they thought, oh, Conte's going to be available in a couple of months. Maybe just keep him in and just get rid of him. You never know with Tottenham. But we replaced it with a serial winner. It's amazing. So
Winner.
It's a winner. I prefer to kill him. So that's what I can't wait. I want to see who's going to get killed out of the 23-man squad. So it's going to be quite fun.
We'll come on to that. We'll definitely be coming on to that. Mari, what's your thoughts on Nuno?
Similar to Jamie, I felt that he didn't get all that he wanted. And then I guess there was rumors going out that maybe he really wanted to play a back 3, but he was told that not to. So I don't know. It's just rumors. But
so the one thing I find hard with that is we've now got a manager that will be playing a back 3.
Yeah.
So this is the stupid thing with that person. Nuno was best at playing a back 3, but he couldn't play it. Yet you sack him and bring in the ultimate manager. So that
back 3,
it's ridiculous. But that's the stupid part of this whole thing to me.
Yeah, and so the on the field, it was just horrible. You saw the stats. We had stats of a team that's going to be regulated in regards to goals and chances. I mean, it was just horrible. And really, it got to a point where after Arsenal, Chelsea, Crystal Palace being depressed, the Manchester United game was the ultimate depression. I've never felt, I became a Spurs fan through the Harry Redknapp years. So I wasn't there in the 90s or when they got regulated in the 70s. This was the lowest I felt ever as a Spurs fan. Literally like depressed, and so Nuno had to go. He had to go. There was just no other thing. People was just say, "Hey, Brian Mason." I almost put Brian Mason in, but Nuno had to go, and so I kind of feel sorry for him. But I also am like, "Hey, you're 14, 12 million, 10 million rich. You're gonna have a break. I think he'll get a job somewhere in the Portuguese league or somewhere in the championship. I think he's gonna get a job because he did get Wolves up to Premier League and he did do something. So he's gonna get a job. It's just that now he's 10 million richer, and he's gonna have a chance to kind of reset. I think he needs a chance to reset.
He needs a break, don't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark, what's your thoughts? Did you get all emotional? You're on mute, mate.
It's because I was about to cry again. I thought I'd mute myself. They chucked him in the broom cupboard, apparently, didn't they? And they treated him like a caretaker manager, so it fitted pretty well where they stuck him. I don't really feel that sorry for him, to be honest with you. I said last week on Tommy's stream that I'm not Nuno out, but that was the final straw for me at the weekend, to be honest with you, because you can tell when the players are not playing for someone, and I could see it so clearly at the weekend that I thought, you know what, this guy ain't gonna. He ain't gonna do. He was never gonna do it, so he had to go. Whether Conte come in or not, the guy had to go. I never thought he was a right fit for the club. I thought that from the outset. He was the 7th, 8th, or whatever it was choice. It's no surprise the way that it's ended up. So no, I don't really feel sorry for him. As Jamie said, he's got a massive payoff. He's a nice guy. I've said to you, Shan, on Twitter, the guy never inspired me. I couldn't listen to it. Nothing against him personally. I couldn't listen to him. I couldn't listen to his pre-game stuff. If we won, I couldn't listen to him. He bored the hell out of me. He was boring. He didn't inspire me. He was monotone. I'm glad that he's gone. I don't dislike the guy, but I'm glad that he's gone. We can move on. He can move on with his 14 million or whatever it was, sit on the beach. We can get the caretaker back in the broom cupboard, and we can give Conte a nice office.
His arm folding frustrated me. He showed no passion. Like he just kept going like this. I mean, aren't you mad?
The beard stroke on the side.
Yeah, you know what, Mark?
Don't get me wrong. I like the beard stroke.
He tried to do the Cody Mack. He tried to do the Cody Mack wisdom stroke, and it didn't work.
It didn't work. No.
Literally, this is the one thing I always say on our match review and preview pods. He just on the sidelines. I used to sit there and I used to look at him, and I'd be like, "What are you doing? What are you doing to inspire these players? Because they're a part of what you're portraying here. Like." They're feeding off your energy and you're doing nothing. And he either did subs too late, he either didn't do them at all, or he did the completely wrong ones. The tactics were all off. He don't think he knew what his best 11 was. Yeah, it was definitely time for him to go. I said after the United game I wouldn't go back to the stadium as long as Nuno was in charge. So my self-imposed stadium ban lasted 48 hours, and I'm going to the Vitesse game tomorrow.
That's exactly what I said on Tommy's. I was like, I can't go. I'm not buying another ticket. And then literally was like, it looks like I'm going back.
Yeah.
He was there 10 games, wasn't he? And I think you could say 3 of them.
17 in total.
Yeah, what was it? Yeah, in the Premier League, Brian. He was there for 10 games. He was there for 10 games. The Man City game, the Aston Villa game, and the Newcastle game were the only, and the first half against Chelsea before we fucking completely bent over. That was it, and everything else was dire. Even the wins against Watford,
Burnley
game. It was dire. They're absolutely dire performances.
I agree.
No idea.
Obviously, off the back of Nuno, I think what's interesting as well is that none of the players have actually said bye to him on social media or anything. None of them have done that. And I think it's quite disrespectful. But what does that say about... I think there's been quite a lot of negative news around that Nuno didn't... Yeah.
Kind of said something today.
That's kind of the question came up.
Yeah.
He was ducking a lot of questions about Nuno, but none of them have come out and said thank you, blah, blah. You know what they normally would. It's just been radio silence, and I just find that quite disrespectful in a way. I don't know what you guys think, Brian.
Yeah, I think it's completely disrespectful. Whether it worked out or not, he's still your manager. No, they always say no one likes to lose their job. No one likes to lose their job. Now listen, you've got a position and you've got to face it. Yes, he tells you to do the how you're going to play. But as you hear a lot of players say at the big clubs, the great clubs, if something's not working, they talk amongst themselves and say, okay, let's just, if it's like they've just conceded, okay, let's just keep the ball, and they talk. The least they could have done is just said, listen, sorry, it didn't work. Words to that effect, like a short one, not one of these long bios that are like, oh, we love you, we miss you, I'll never be. Just some kind of acknowledgement, even if it was from just Hugo and Harry, the captain and vice captain. Then you're like, okay, because that's I would say that falls under like the captain's responsibility to represent the club in the good and the bad. You've got that armband, and that's some of your key responsibilities. It's highly disrespectful. But you know, when they came in, you can tell from the start, when you get your 9th choice manager come in, you're always going to get this, especially when you've got these attitudes and egos of the people we've got. They're going to come in and they're just, whether you're you're still, you know what I mean? Well, if we all leave our jobs, everyone gets you a goodbye card and signs something, or you know, there's something, or you put on your own social media, yeah, it's been great working with this company, blah, 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 blah. Now sign for something. There's just some kind of acknowledgement. And the fact that there's nothing, I think, is really, really disrespectful.
I agree. I'll come to the rest of you, but first, thank you for adversary for the super chat. Mario, I envy you. Saturday was close to some of the worst of the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, it was bad. I mean, I've heard, you know, when Sugar saved the team in the 90s, it was really bad. But I like I said, going through the AVB, going through Sherwood, it was never as bad like as Saturday, some of the games. I mean, we lost some games that were at least kind of exciting, but I've never felt so low as a Spurs fan. Then it broke me on Saturday. It like literally broke me, and that was probably the reason why at first I wasn't like, yeah, Conte coming, like, cause I was a broken man because of this team. It broke me, and so, man, I feel for those who were there during the 90s, because man, Saturday was bad. I mean, it was the worst.
It was the worst game I've been to as a Spurs fan.
Yeah.
Being in that stadium was just a pool of toxicity.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I think in the 90s, I don't know how old. I know Brian is roughly my kind of age. We were around in the 90s. We always had someone to sort of pin our hopes to in the 90s, like a Ginola or a Klinsmann or even a Sheringham, Barmby. You know, it was dire at times, and we got some absolute hammerings. But what we would do is we would win games like 4. They're always exciting games, to be honest. Like, we would take in absolute batterings under Nuno. It was boring to watch.
You know what it was, Mark? At least in the 90s, the one thing you did know is the players would try. They would try their hardest. They would always do it. They're just, we didn't have
some average players, weren't there? We had average players and then a couple of world-class players. So that's what that was. Exactly. It was so unbalanced. We had some awful players with some great players at the same time.
But they would give it. That's the thing. They would walk over that line and they would try that. You know, you look at people like, and I always look at him and mention him. You've got people that look at the players that were bad and have been performing terribly for us recently, and you look at one of our famous captains, and for me, one of the most inspirational footballers I've seen in Gary Mabbutt, who had diabetes throughout his career, had his eye dislocated by John Fashanu, had to go through so many things. He literally, and he still.
What was that, Shan? What did you say, Shan?
Huh?
What did you say that? What did you say there?
Gary Mabbutt had his foot eaten by a rat.
What?
This was in his later years, but yeah,
I've never heard that.
If some of you didn't
know,
you
said rat, I was thinking, did she say rat?
Yeah, I was like, I thought you were going into the kind of fetish he liked or something. I was like,
I've never heard that one.
No, he was because he spends a lot of time in South Africa, so he was in South Africa asleep, and because of his diabetes, he can't feel his feet. And a rat started to eat his foot, and obviously it was all wet, and he noticed that all the flesh was missing.
Oh my god!
Right, so to go back to the footballing side of Gary Mabbutt, but yeah, he is a true inspiration, and he's one of the guys who were trying. You remember Gary Mabbutt also during COVID represented Spurs and calling all the vulnerable people.
He's still doing it.
He he is honestly, he was not only a superb defender, didn't get capped for England as much as he should have, but he represented what being a Tottenham captain and a Tottenham player was.
Yeah.
And I had my season tickets. My first season ticket was 95, but I was still going during the 90s, just not as a season ticket holder, all the way up until early 2000s. And the team at least were putting a performance. You wouldn't go, oh, the half of them ain't trying or they don't know what they're doing. They just couldn't compete with the levels that they were above, but they would always try. And now we just don't. Or the last few games, it was just appalling performances.
I definitely agree. But back to Nuno and the squad not saying their goodbyes. Mark, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's not good, but I don't know whether they've been told to just have a total media blackout, because I haven't seen, I'll be honest, I've been working all day, so I haven't looked too much. But has anyone actually said, welcome Conte, exciting to work with Conte? I don't know whether they've just been...
Kane
has he? On
Kane
social media?
come out and said that he's, yeah.
Lloris.
Okay. Kane came out on social media saying that, but it's not been the influx of people.
What,
it's
Kane
been...
tweeted on... When did he do that? I haven't
something that we showed on We Are Tottenham TV yesterday. Oh no, it might not have been him personally. It may have been an interview where someone has said he has said to them in an
Alistair
interview.
Gold said that.
Yeah, I see Alistair Gold. There's been nothing
yeah.
on social media, so I don't know whether they've been told to just not say anything, because we know they don't do their own social media anyway. So they may have been told by the club, don't say anything. I don't know, because it's unusual, isn't it, for a manager to go and no one to say anything, or a manager to come in and no one to say anything. So that's all I can think on it. Just I always pull up these photos you can't see. There's a picture from the 90s. I have to retweet it or something. It's me with Gary Mabbott in another flashy suit. Can you see?
Oh, so you got a picture of Mabbott as well, same as Shan.
That's in the 90s when we lost to Liverpool.
Do your 90s one and my one from the Chelsea game.
Yeah.
We're sorted.
Still annoyed about that.
You'll remember this one, Brian. Do you remember when McManaman scored against Ian Walker and Walker just looked around
and the ball popped over his thing, like what happened with in Liverpool? We had with Tim Flowers, didn't it?
Yeah, it was that bloody game. It was a midweek game. I was lucky enough to sit in a box, but yeah, we move on. That was the 90s in a nutshell, anyway.
Yeah. That's you know what? I'll tell you how bad it was in the 90s for people didn't go, because you said Ian Walker. So I had my season ticket, and when we had it, the football sometimes got so boring that the group I used to sit with, like, because you all sit there in your season ticket place, we used to have a bet, and someone would watch Ian Walker all game, and we'd see how many times we bet that Ian Walker did that with his hair. That's what one person would do each time for the whole game, just to see it. That's how bad the football was.
Sorry, I know you guys have been showing pictures. I feel like I have to now, just to be part of it. I got one with Van der Vaart, so if that helps.
Yeah,
yeah. I got one with Ledley King. Let me find my picture with Ledley King.
Bye.
Hey, there you go, Ledley on my screensaver.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, that's asking you to vote. All right, now you're doing it. That's asking,
I've got one with Gary Mabbott's foot. Wait there.
I've got a rat attached to it.
That's you being photo bombs. That's me literally in a box with him.
That looks like a photo,
nice.
Brian. I'm not having that.
So no, mate, I was literally.
That was my thoughts.
No, mate. Thankfully, I know Danny Rose's dad, so he got me occasionally to go sit in a box. So when I sat in a box, literally, I was my first time sitting there, and I went to go get a drink with my friend, or my friend went to go get me drinks. He just came and said, "Brian, Ledley King is in our box." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I walked in, and there he was doing his ambassadorial stuff. So yeah.
He's a gent.
If I get a chance to get a picture of a Conte tomorrow, I don't care if I have to push a child over. I'll do it.
Conte would love that.
Yeah, it was like,
you think he replied to Kirst?
But
on
yeah.
He actually replied to Kirst when he said, "My God, she wins competitions like that, and then she gets them from the manager."
I don't know how she does it all the time.
She's lucky.
I know. I messaged her today, and I was just like, it just irritates me. So I was like, Conte. She's only been there a day. She's already got a reply.
On to the juicy stuff. Let's put Nuno in the past now. We're parking Nuno. Antonio Conte's statement, which reads, "I am extremely happy to return to coaching and to do so at a Premier League club that has the ambition to be a protagonist again. Tottenham Hotspur has state-of-the-art facilities and one of the best stadiums in the world. I can't wait to start working to convey to the team and the fans the passion, mentality, and determination that have always distinguished me as a player and as a coach. Last summer, our union did not happen because the end of my relationship with Inter was still too recent and emotionally too involved with the end of the season. So I felt that it wasn't yet the right time to return to coaching. But the contagious enthusiasm and determination of Daniel Levy in wanting to entrust me with this task had already hit the mark. Now that the opportunity has returned, I've chosen to take it with great conviction. What do we think?
Ryan's head's about to explode.
I honestly, it's so refreshing to hear these kind of words and everything he's saying. It's like literally every single Spurs fan and every single person associated with the club now must feel about 5-6 inches taller, because it's just like we've got a guy that is literally going to steer the ship back to where Poch was taking it. It is the words he is saying. It's like, I tweeted something before he was confirmed as manager. They brought up one of his sayings that he said at a previous club at some point, where he just said, winners find solutions, losers find excuses. And I was just like, in 6 words, you have just given more confidence and more about yourself than Nuno did in 4 months.
Mm.
That was literally just in 6 words. He was like, whoa, this guy is. And I don't know if you're going to talk about the video, but the video that came out today, but I might not be here when you do. Just watching that video again was just unbelievable. I mean, I saw him in the training. I saw him in the training gear, and I got very, very excited. Let's just put it that way. It's like, oh my god!
We don't need to hear too much about your excitement, Brian.
Yeah, I was just like, no, I'm not getting triggered today.
Brian.
I'm not getting triggered today. Listen, listen. When it comes to that man, all I will say is that's half the battle. We've got the manager we wanted. Now it's just about him making sure he keeps to his word to spend, and that's all I'm going to do about that parasite. But yeah, everything that we've seen with him just makes you feel like, and what's game as well. You've seen people, Arsenal fans, everything like, like. Ben was out. I don't know if people watched We Are Tottenham TV yesterday, but this morning. But he went to Kasabian last night, and there were people going, like, people recognised him. There were a lot of Spurs fans. They were singing Antonio. And a West Ham fan went up to Ben and goes, "Oh, you're going to win nothing with him." Blah blah blah. And a Liverpool fan went up to him and said, "What the hell are you talking about, you idiot? They've got the best manager in the world," and that's a Liverpool fan. That's a Liverpool fan. All the pundits are like Tottenham now, top 4.
Did you see Cesc Fabregas?
Fabregas, John Terry as well.
John Terry.
Exactly. And you look at this, and then within 24 hours, we're pretty much going to we've expressed our interest in Kessie, and it looks like we'll get him.
And he hasn't even on a free transfer.
Well, no, it might be. It's going to be 3 or 8.5 million in January. So to get him if we want him like straight away, but his contract runs out, so whichever way. But beforehand, when we heard all these links and rumours with the Dybalas, Fernandes, you thought, right, they're rumours. You know that this is going to fall through, that something's going to happen. Whereas now there's actually substance behind these rumours, because they're going to want to come for this manager. And it's just
Vlahovic is we've got money set aside for Vlahovic as well.
That's the one I want. I've been saying it all week. That's the one I think. The one we have to identify immediately and get is help for Harry Kane. And not even just back. I don't want to use that word backup anymore. I want to use that word competition. So he's always on red alert. It gives us the opportunity to rest him as well, so he can.
Well, we need another striker. That we've been saying that for ages anyway. But if we're playing two up front, which Conte
if we're going to compete on all fronts, we need 2 strikers. Plus, if we play a 3-5-2, you need 2. Obviously, you've got Son, you've got Kane, and then Vlahovic. Yeah. You can rotate, and I think that's what we need. We need them to be fighting for position, so they're hungry. There's no hunger in our squad because the starting 11 knows they're going to start week in, week out.
Exactly.
They need competition.
Exactly.
But we're going to come on to that. I want to see how everyone else feels about the statement. Jamie, I'll come to you next.
I'll tell you what I like about the statement is that he didn't say that he turned us down. He just wasn't ready. So everyone said, "Oh, Conte turned Spurs down." No, he just wasn't ready to manage yet. He was too upset about the whole situation at Inter. So I like that. I like that he shoved that and he shut that down. So, but no, I think everything that the guy says, it's just like it makes you have like a giant orgasm. So I'm just excited.
I was in excitement and I got told off. Yeah, orgasm seems to be.
It's like an orgasmic word. So I just want to see him tomorrow. I don't care about watching Tottenham tomorrow. It's just I just want to see him run around and start shouting at people. That's all I'm looking forward to.
I'm sat in the north stand by the corner flag. I'm really happy about it because I feel like at one point Conte is just gonna be like...
Yeah, because you're not that far from me, are you? So you're just literally next round, aren't you? So, yeah. So yeah,
not far from you at all.
But yeah, no, the statement, it just shows that he's not going to mess about. He will drop anyone. Doesn't care who you are. So that's what we need.
Absolutely, Mari.
Saw it, and you could tell the difference between Nuno's announcement and what he was saying, and I like literally there's a confidence that this will be done. He is going to bring success. He's going to bring a culture change to the team. I am like buzzing because of him, and also excited. It's just I saw the statement that he had the players inspired yesterday when he came in and gave a passionate plea, that of what the type of team he's going to have. And I remember a previous, I guess, interview a couple of years ago where for him winning, like he's addicted to winning, like he hates losing. It like drives him insane. People who quit and because of that effort they lose. And so what I'm really excited about is that win, lose, or draw, we're gonna have warriors on the field because of Conte, that they're gonna put all their effort in. And that's why I'm so excited, really confident, because their team, the culture is gonna change. And then if you're not with it, he says he's gonna kill you. He'll kill you off. He'll rather kill you. And I believe him. So it's and it's going to I'm excited. And yeah.
Definitely. Before I come to Mark, there's 136 people watching and only 32 likes. Hang on, callers make a fancy thing. If I can here we go, look.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
Look at Shan getting used to the buttons to press.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, you know what to do. I'll turn them off now. But yeah, please like and
you
subscribe.
Know what to do.
It really helps. It really helps the podcast. So thank you very much for your support as always. Mark, thoughts on Conte's statement?
Jamie touched on it really. I think for me, it opened up my eyes a little bit to not just always listen to what the media say, and it come from like the horse's mouth, whether you can say it wasn't the truth or what, but he said himself that he wasn't ready to take over at that time. I just remember how angry I was when supposedly we messed up the Conte deal in the summer. I was absolutely that was me, levy out, everything. I was fully on board then. I cancelled my I don't keep going on about. I cancelled my membership, vowed not to go back in the club shop. Blah 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 blah. Maybe it wasn't true. Maybe he wasn't ready. So it's like with these Kessie rumors and everything else. Not that I want to put a downer on that. We can't believe everything that we read. It's just there's so much clickbait out there. So it was just a bit of an eye-opener for me in that way that we all did. We were all absolutely fuming, weren't we, when we see that concept? We were all like, we were told it's on the verge. We had Alistair Gold saying it's all but done. Fabrizio Romano was saying it. And then it didn't happen. No. And we all just assumed that it was Levy that messed it up because of, what do we hear? The staff. He wasn't allowed to bring in staff.
Mark, just with that, like you said, it's hard to believe everything that we read and with Kessie or whatever. That could easily be a line that he has been told to say. I'm not saying that it is.
Yeah, but Brian, I don't
I
believe
don't
that
think you can
Conte's the
tell
type of
Conte to
bloke.
say anything.
I don't believe that he is. I don't believe.
I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying it's that easy to say we're not going to have whatever. I'm not saying that is the reason at all. I'm saying it could be. I mean, don't get me wrong. He was just out of Inter. He had just won the league. It could be one of either. And I'm more inclined to say that what Conte said is the truth.
Yeah.
But there is always that doubt that
We don't know.
maybe.
It could be, but I don't think. I think he would have just done that himself rather than being told what to say, if that makes sense. He might have said
Yeah.
it, well, yeah, just divert a bit of the attention. I wasn't ready. And it could have been a bit of both. It could have been that actually we weren't agreeing to everything. And he said, well, actually, this isn't the right time for me. It could be a mixture of the two things, couldn't it? Really? He could have half agreed and said, well, actually, I'm not getting everything I want. This isn't the right time for me. I'm not doing it. You know?
Exactly.
You know, we just don't know. But I just think it's important to sort of recognise that not everything we read in the bloody media is true. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And I'm not saying that I'm fully levying still, because I'm not, because for me, this is half the job done. We were saying it last night. We need to see what happens in January and going forward, because that's the big answer. You can't bring this manager in and not give him the tools. So we've had step one. Now, yes, see what step two does. So I'm not renewing my membership just yet. I will wait and see what happens in January. I want to renew my membership. I've been a junior Spur, like I'm 40 years old now. You know, I've been going for years, and I will. I'm there Thursday because luckily, as I said, my mate's given me a ticket, but I haven't bought a ticket. I want to be back on board. That he needs to show me the ambition that he showed me yesterday, which is a great start, and I take my hat off to him and Enick and say well done for now. Now you got to push on.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of what's going to go on behind closed doors, who do we think is going to be buried underneath Hotspur Way first? Brian. Famous quote is that Conte said if players don't try, he'd rather murder them than have them in the team. So who's going to be buried at Hotspur Way?
The person is quite obvious, and I've been saying this for a long time. Dele Alli. And I said it as well this week. I guarantee you that before the international break, or maybe just after the international break, that hairstyle has gone. Gone.
All buzz cut.
Listen, stop looking like a prick and just get your army buzz cut and start again. I reckon it's gone. Listen, his attitude is just disgusting. It's appalling. And after 3 years, it's enough. And don't get me wrong. I think probably Antonio Conte could bring something back out of Dele, especially if we play 5-3 and we put him nearer where he played in his first 2 seasons. But for me, if he came back in top form, it's just like, well, why haven't you done this for 3 years? Why have you stumbled and let yourself get out of the England squad? Just he followed the money, he followed the media, the what's it called, endorsements, whatever, and he let his football get affected. So for me, Dele Alli straight away.
Gav, once again, thank you. Big supporter of the Cheese Room. Thank you for the support and the super chat. Super chats are live. If you want to make sure your comments read out, there are so many comments, so I will try and get to some at the end, but there's loads. So if you want to get your comment read out, then a super chat is the best way to do that. Thank you, Gav. Come on, you Spurs. That's what we like. Mari, who do you think is going to be buried at Hotspur Way?
A bit torn between these two players, but I'm gonna have to go with Brian and say Dele Alli. I just feel that I just feel that there's just something with him that's just missing. I think there's going to be a little like a manager's bounce where he's going to show something maybe the first 3 games, but then he's going to get back to his mindset being on other projects and stuff. And I don't know if you're going to talk about the comment that he made that, I'm finally playing with pros. And some people think, oh, you're overreacting to about the video game stuff. But it's just, you're putting finally, it's just, because somehow
it's not good time in the day before when you've just been dropped for a cup game against Burnley and it's the day before the United game, is it? It's not a good look from Dele.
Yeah, it's not good looking. And with Winks, he's not good enough. I just think he's going to get rid of him, but Winks will show the heart because Winks still loves the badge. He's just not good, but he loves the badge. So I don't think he's going to bury him. Dele Alli, I think he's going to kill him and bury him under the stadium or
The thing
throw.
that frustrates me with Delhi the most is I couldn't sleep last night, so I started to rewatch All or Nothing because there's a lot of intricate things that go on in it, and because I've not watched it for a while, you probably forget what's happened. And I saw that Conte's watched it while he's been in talks about the job to get info on the players' mentality. And Delhi was having a flyer when Mourinho first came in.
Where's West Ham? That back heel. Remember the back heel against when he was on the floor and he done that?
Yeah.
That was incredible. That was incredible.
He was scoring and the assists as well, and the ball before the ball, as we like to call it. Some of that was amazing, and then it's just gone south. I don't understand it at all. It's crazy to me. It's bizarre. But Jamie, I'm surprised no one's mentioned Mr. Winks yet. Is that are you going to come through and mention Winks, or is it Delhi for you as well?
No. Do you know what? Like I've been on the Delhi bandwagon. I've been having a go at him, but I'm ready to give everyone a new chance because Conte's coming in and he's got a new philosophy. He's gonna, if you're not doing the best, you're out. And I feel like Delhi's social media is not going to be as much. He's going to focus because he wants to get back in that team. So I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt until I'm going to give him this season now because I know it's harsh. I'll give him to the rest of the season because under Conte, you're going to be a completely different player. We might see the old Dele Alli from back 15, 16 when he was like knocking them left, right, centre. So, and Winks, I know like none of us like Winks, but I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt as well because you know what's going to happen. So I'm going to back everyone at the moment until Conte says no.
So you don't think there's going to be a heap of bodies?
I think if there's going to be one, I think it's going to be one of the A-listers. So like if Harry's not causing, if he's not going to do his stuff, then he'll drop Harry because he doesn't care who you are. So I think I'm just going to give everyone the benefit of doubt until at the moment. So if I get a lot of stick in the comments from it, I don't care. So yeah, that's me.
Mark, who are you? Who do you reckon will be first into the heap of bodies?
I reckon Son's gone. I'm joking. I'm joking.
What?
I try to take the heat off Jamie. I think, you've already said him. I think Winks. To be honest with you, I just can't see him surviving this cold. To be honest with you, I think he'll be the first out the door. And I don't hate anyone. To be honest with you, I don't hate any of our players. But I'm sure none of us really do. But for me, he's not good. I've never been a massive fan of Winks anyway. He has had the odd game here and there. Everyone harps on about the Barcelona games and the Real Madrid games and everything else. But I don't think he's ever really been good enough. I don't dislike the guy. He's a Tottenham fan. His whole family are Tottenham fans. I'm sure he would give anything to be a regular in our team. I wish him all the best. I wish him well. I really do. I don't think he's a bad kid at all. But I just don't think he will ever make it as a first-team regular at Tottenham. And I can't see him surviving the Conte reign. Hope I'm wrong. Hope he comes and does what some fans thought he would do, be an Iniesta type, Xavi type. Not for me.
Had to say that, yeah.
Yeah, not for me.
Yeah, Hemo Iniesta.
Yeah.
What about you, Shan? Who's going to be dead?
I think it will be interesting. I think it could be a number of them. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with Ndombele and Lo Celso. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with Delhi. If he's going to play 3-5-2, could he play Delhi as one of the two? But then where do you put Sonny? Do you play Sonny as a left wing back? Which would be bonkers.
I got a feeling Sonny's going to be up front if he's doing a 3-5-2.
Yeah, so then where do you fit Delhi in? Where do you fit him into the squad? Because he's not going to get into the midfield and he's not going to play as part of that two up top.
I got a feeling Skip or Højbjerg is going to take one of the cuts for if he's going to want more attacking. You can't play two defensive midfielders.
No, it'll be one or the other.
So, and I think
he'll probably rotate them. He'll probably play Skip. He'll probably play Højbjerg in the league and the big cup games, and Skip in the others.
Yeah, I think he'll quite like Skip and Hoy, but I know that I've seen the rumours that they could be out the door and everything else. But I mean, I don't profess to remember Conte too well, but I did used to watch Serie A and stuff back in the day because it was massive in the 90s when he was there and stuff. And he was a defensive type player himself in the midfield, so I reckon they're the type of players that he would quite like. And see Skippy especially, I think he'll quite like Skip, to be honest with you. But I agree, he'll only play one of them. I can't see them both playing at the same time. Yeah,
definitely. It'll be a rotation thing, won't it? Which is good for them both because otherwise they're going to get burnt out playing every game. But Gov, I don't know if everyone watching, there's 177 of you watching, so thank you very much for your support. Gov did say that if we signed Antonio Conte, he would donate $500 to a charity of our choice. Gov, we're still deliberating in the WhatsApp group, but on Friday's show, I'm sure we'll have come to a decision and we'll contact you about the charity we've chosen. There's been a few good ones. I think we've had mine.
Fair play, yeah.
And
Did you say 500?
$500. So thank you very much.
I gave 50. I gave 50 to mine for a bet I lost before, and now Antonio Conte has cost me a tattoo. But $500, man. That God, fair play to you, brother. Fair play, my man. That is an unbelievable gesture.
Brilliant supporter of the Cheese Room, and thank you again for another super chat. We really do appreciate everything you do, and like I say, we'll come back to you with our charity choice very soon. I'll remind them once we are off air. Oh, it's not going. And now I've lost where I am. Quickly revert to the run sheet. Right, okay. Well, the next part was Winks, PEH, and Skip rumoured to potentially be going, but I think we've pretty much just covered that, haven't we? I don't think we'll keep all three, but I think if anyone's going to go, it's going to be Winks. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The war chest. The war chest. Will it be dusted with fresh cotton smelling sheen polish and taken out to play? What are we thinking? Brian, I'm going to come to you first because it's another legal question.
Well, you know that person said you tried to trigger me.
I did the run sheet before I knew you were coming on. So
the eye twitching, Brian.
From what we've heard, and it's varied from 100 to 150 in January, and then whatever. And then we saw a couple of things that are saying it's not that big, and then some people saying it is that big. Listen, I mean, let's use Kessie for one. I mean, you either get it for 8.5 million or for free. There's two ways to look at it. You either get him now at 8.5 million to save having to have all the other clubs going for him for free because then they'll offer higher wages, or you play the game where we'll sign him ready for January, and then that gives another 8.5 million and the wage that he would have been earning to go for someone like a Dusan Vlahovic. Like people have said, we've spent money, but we've just spent it horribly well. Horribly bad.
Wrong.
Horribly, yeah, that might have been better. That might have been the phrase I was originally going for.
Spent it horribly well at all.
Yeah, horribly well. What a thing for me. Only I could say that. But yeah, it's now I think we don't. You see, what happens with Tottenham is we've always bought potential or build for the future, and we know Antonio Conte comes in and buys the finished article. I said earlier today, it's like recently we've been eating at McDonald's and tonight we're eating at Gordon Ramsay. That's where our manager and sports director of football can take us to. So I think it's now, whatever the war chest is, let's just say it's 100 million. If we have to pay 70, and I'm just picking this number out of thin air for Vlahovic, will we be allowed to spend 70 million on one player? Because normally with 100 million, that means get one good player.
We've got the money. Well, we've got the Martinez money, so apparently we have got the money reserved for Vlahovic to buy Vlahovic.
Exactly. But that again was obviously bullshit from Levy. But I'm standing him accountable for that. Plus the money from obviously NFL, plus the money from Joshua, plus the shirt sleeve, not the shirt sleeve, the training ground sponsorship that came in this summer. You'd think that this would kick in, so we can get it now.
Well, in
I
the
am
accounts,
sure.
we had 200 million sat there, and this was from not last year because we get those this month, but
Yep.
the year before, 200 million sat there. So it'll probably be
Yep.
more than that now.
Exactly, and then you look at it, and the way you got to look at it is it? Are we in January? Are we going to get them? This is it's huge, and you got to remember Antonio Conte, and I think everyone in the chat would agree. There is no doubt whatsoever that he hasn't had in paper, in writing, that is signed, sealed, and unbreakable. I get money to spend.
Yeah,
I have full authority to get because he ain't coming otherwise. There's
definitely.
absolutely no chance whatsoever. And now it's just a case of seeing, because what will happen if he doesn't get backed? It's kind of like what happened at Inter, but they needed the money, and he was like, "You're not selling my best players," and he went, "Goodbye." After winning the league, he was like, "Ta-da, see you later." So if he's not backed, he will walk. So I think we've got to have the money.
This
Exactly.
is an
Yeah, we've had
interesting
it
one
5
as well.
times.
Having a manager like Conte at Spurs is only going to help with the naming rights, because the commerciality of having someone like a big name like Conte in that stadium is only going to help us get that naming right still over the line. What do you think on this, Jamie? I think that's a good point.
Before Jamie goes, I just need to say I need to go because Dane's going to be here any moment. So
Okay.
I'm going to drop out this time. But I just wanted to say goodbye to everyone. I will next probably see you all on a stream when I'm back on the other side of the pond, on
No.
Mari's side of the pond. Although I'm going to go on the Love Lounge later on tonight, so I'll be there for that. Mari, WhatsApp me the link, please, brother. Because I have a problem with Twitter on time. So WhatsApp me the link. I'll be there. But
Yeah,
Mark, it was wicked seeing you on Saturday. And when I
Good to
see
see you,
you,
mate.
Jamie, always a pleasure. Shan, darling, always a pleasure seeing you. And everyone in the cheese room, have a great evening. Enjoy the rest of the show. I'll speak to you soon. And it's not stopping, so I will carry on with my favourite 2 words. Levy out.
Oh, spoiling the party, Brian, as always. But yeah, Jamie, what's your thoughts on the naming rights? We've got to be close, haven't we now?
Well, we brought in that guy. I don't know his name, and it's supposed to have been close ages ago. And
Guy
Alistair
from
Gold,
Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
Alistair Gold said it was that it was close, but we've not heard anything about it. So that's where the war chest is probably coming from. I'm assuming Conte's.
Well, we've
they're
got
probably,
200 million sat in the accounts from 2 years ago. So it'll be interesting to see last year's accounts that are coming out soon, as Caller said in the comments. But with revenue, a full season of revenue with concerts and everything as well, we're looking at over 100 million in stadium revenue alone this season. So we've got money to spend.
Well, look how much
But
the
the
beers
naming
are. They're
rights will add to
expensive.
that.
So, yeah, no, I don't think it's been discussed like how much it's going to get. They probably just said we've got a lot of money for you to spend. Because they're not
Apparently
going to
it's
tell them.
100 million in January.
I don't
Between
think
100 and 150 million.
I
Which
reckon
makes
maybe.
sense. That's Kessie and Vlahovic.
Yeah, I reckon only 2 people will come in because Paratici did say today that no one was going to come in, didn't he, on his
He
conference?
didn't say that, did he? He
Oh,
said
no, not exactly
they
that.
haven't
He says,
talked about it yet because they wanted to look at that. Like, obviously, they have.
Trust our players.
They're going to say that they're not going to say in public, are they? Or our
"Oh
players?
no, you're not going to dish your own
shit,
players
we
because of the
need to
conference."
sign loads of players, or it's not
But-
going to work.
But
So-
no, I do. We wouldn't have signed Conte if there wasn't going to be a budget involved, because the guy does like to spend, and that's how he's successful. So not just through that, but I want to see Amazon Part 2. We'd love to see what Conte's like behind the scenes.
Oh, I know.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But I can maybe no, you never. It could be called the Amazon Arena. You still never know. But yeah, I just don't know what we're going to be called, but it needs to get done soon because it's been taking ages.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's no better time than now. We've got full crowds. We've got an elite manager, one of the best in the world. Can you believe it? One of the best in the world at Little Old Spurs, and opposition fans absolutely hate it.
Oh, they
They're
hate it.
so
They're
salty.
allowed to have nice
They
things
hate
for a
it.
change. It's nice.
Yeah, it's definitely a interesting one. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice to be able to actually like mock others for a change. Rather than it just being us. But it's just nice to see all the pundits talking about us positively again. It's amazing the difference a name makes. because the squad, although I've seen a lot of Manchester United fans and Arsenal fans saying our squad's shit, but it's not shit. They've just not been managed correctly at all.
Well, there was that quote on Twitter today from an Arsenal fan. He goes, I don't know, I can't remember if I put it in the group chat, and he was just saying that everyone's laughing at Spurs, but he goes, they've got the best manager in the world. We're only 2 points above them, and he goes, I'm shitting myself. So, so it's nice to see that other fans are getting carried away like crap. But we'll find out on Sunday how Conte is really going to do, because obviously Premier League, Everton ways no mugs either, are they?
But Everton have been awful. They've got a lot of injuries.
Oh yeah.
And maybe we can get rid of the famous old phrase, Dr. Tottenham will see you now. Maybe this is the time where that changes and Conte, it's brilliant.
It's going to be fun.
I mean, it's soon. We've got a game tomorrow that he's been supervising training for. He hasn't been taking training, he's been supervising, which we all know. He's given telling Ryan Mason what to do and getting him to do it, and then he's watching and making sure it's being done properly.
He's probably shouting at Mason, "Do go!" So,
and then we've got obviously 2 days, and then we've got Everton. So it is a bit of a.
That's 2:00 kickoff, isn't it?
On Sunday.
Yeah.
So we haven't got a lot of time in between. So he hasn't got too much time to put his imprint on the squad. But I do think he'll get something. He'll bring something out of them. It'll be a mentality. If anything, it'll be a motivation to do well rather than seeing all his tactics in all its glory. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we've got a nice run of games up until Christmas.
We've got a decent run of games coming up to Christmas, so all winnable as well.
Yeah.
So
all of them.
Looking forward to these 15 points or 24 points, whatever it is. Happy days.
I will say this in regards to the war chest. Couple of myths. Number one, at Inter, it's reported that he only net spending was only 27 million, which shows that Inter made some good, smart buys. And that's what we want to see. You could have the war chest, but it's making good, smart buys for the team. And so that's why I think everybody's getting excited about the Vlahovic, because he's a striker that's a smart buy and he's good. And then Kessie is a freaking beast. He's a beast. And we either get him on a free or AC Milan, which it looks like they're not going to qualify for the knockout rounds. Now may be willing to cash in January. If we could get him in January rather than the free, that would be talk about excited. But the war chest, what I'm really excited about, I think Conte is going to be like, let's make some smart buys, players that will fit his system, fit his team, option A's. We see how Romero's doing. Romero was the option A. And so I'm excited. But with that war chest, I'm confident we're going to make smart buys rather than have all that money and then make some bad buys.
Saying that as well, Murray, like having Conte as the manager, you're going to want big names are going to want to come because to work underneath him. So it's nice to attract those people that we couldn't get.
Condes now will be like, well, you got Conte, because Conde didn't want to come to us because not only we played Champions League, but we didn't have a coach. So I mean, I couldn't blame him. At that time, we were going after Conde, but yeah.
And if it went from anyone from Inter, they know Conte well, so they were like, actually, I'm happy to go to Spurs.
The thing is with this as well, obviously, we've got a world-class manager, we've got a world-class stadium, we've got a world-class training ground. Everything's in place, isn't it, for us to really start to push on and become what we want it to be. I feel like we deserve to be, as fans, the club that we deserve to have after all this shit. The pulling power, we're in London as well, the pulling power is going to be absolutely huge. And if we're only 5 points off top four with a good run of games coming up, Manchester United, Ronaldo isn't going to keep saving them all season. He's 36 years old. they're going to have to manage him at some point. They can't keep playing him every single game. But yeah, Manchester United look dodgy. I don't think Arsenal will keep their form up. And we've got Conte coming in. Top 4 is seriously realistic now. And if we get top 4, in come them players in abundance.
Yeah. Well, guys, I'm gonna have to get ready for the lounge in a couple of minutes. But like I said, I am so buzzing. We got one of the best managers in the world. We're gonna back him, and I'm just excited of just the opportunities, the possibilities that's gonna come. And I mean, I know we're 10 points behind. I don't care. We're still going for the league. We're still going for the cups. We're going for everything, and I'm excited. And man, can tomorrow get here?
I'm buzzing for tomorrow. The early finish of work, get into the stadium, go into the corner pin. Probably meeting Jamie and his missus. Stu Gallop's going. It's going to be great. We're going to have a great time. But Mari, thank you so much for coming on the Cheese Room again. It's been a pleasure. It's always great having you on. And guys,
good to see you, mate.
Once we're done, head over to the Love Lounge at 11 o'clock. It's always interesting. I will say that.
Oh, it's going to be a celebration. Dancing. A lot of drinking. Conte. I'm going to open this bottle. Look at Conte. It's going to be good. We'll put on the jacket. It's hot here in Florida, so I got to turn up the AC to put the jacket back on. But yeah, it's always an honor. Thank you, Shan. Thank you to the caller, HG, and the rest of the Cheese Room crew. And come on, you Spurs!
See you, mate.
Woo! Conte! Conte!
Right, it feels like a good time to move on to the Vitesse game tomorrow.
Sure. Before we do that, you're very organised and you send a list of the kind of things we might talk about. Yeah. I've done a little bit of homework, just a little bit of homework, right? And I went through the signings that he made at Chelsea, and I went through the signings that he made at Inter Milan. So I didn't make great reading, to be honest with you. I've got to be honest, I was quite surprised. Can I read them out?
Yeah.
So at Chelsea, he made 14 signings. Drinkwater, Bakayoko, Morata, Eduardo, Ross Barkley, Zabacosta, Caballero, Emerson, Batshuayi, Giroud, David Luiz, Rudiger, good signing. Marcus Alonso proved to be a good signing, and Conte. That's what he signed at Chelsea.
So just 3 out of them.
That's what I thought. At Inter, Colorado. You have to bear with me on my pronunciations of these because I haven't heard of some of them. So just bear with me. Go along with me, all right? Kolarov, Agumi, Lazaro, Rudin, Pinamonti, Politano, Vidal, which we would have thought would have been good signing, but I don't think it worked out so well. Godin, another one. Ericsson, Sensi, Alexis Sanchez, Darmian, Ashley Young, Hakimi, Barella, and Lukaku. Another 3, you could say. Ericsson, as you know, they were better, but they're not like, apart from Hakimi, Barella, and Lukaku are class. Kante, Alonso, and Rudiger have been very good for Chelsea. There's not, so I don't think it's going to be every signing we get is going to be wow. It's an amazing, it's an amazing thing. Though. Yeah, exactly. It's
better than having no signings.
I know. I was just surprised. I was just surprised when I went and looked. What would have been interesting? I did try and just find out when you guys were talking there, because obviously Paratici wasn't with him at Chelsea. He wasn't with him at Inter Milan. He signed some good players at Juventus. But I would like to have seen the full list, but I didn't get a chance to see that. But I just found it quite interesting that some of them players. I was a bit like, I'm not too sure about that. But
I think that's the key here, isn't it? It's Paratici and Conte at the wheel, and some of the signings, like the signings Paratici's made this summer, although they weren't necessarily, they were what we needed, but we needed more of them. They're good signings. Emerson, Romero, they're going to shine under Conte. Absolutely going to shine. You've got Brian Hill.
And to be honest, Sean, if you look at them players that he's bought at these clubs,
Mm.
he still won the bloody league. You know, with it doesn't really matter. It didn't really matter, you know. So it's not I wasn't trying to be negative, but I was actually just surprised when I see it. I was
Yeah.
like, oh wow, that's a bit of a
I mean, it's
lie.
because he makes them all click, so that's what we're missing. So
Yeah. But if you look at that,
having a balanced squad, isn't it? You've always got to have that right balance. Because look at Manchester United; they've got a squad full of names, but they don't work together.
and when you look at it, like Rudiger is still like very good for Chelsea, and Conte he left quite a long time ago, and obviously got Kante there as well, another brilliant player. Lukaku they made a bundle on. We're supposedly after Barella, great player, and Hakimi went to PSG. So you know, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be in for a hopefully it's not a bumpy ride. Hopefully it's going to be quite a nice, smooth ride for once. But 13th anniversary, thank you again for your super chat. Dr. Conte and his blue and white nurses will medically slaughter the Toffees. He can wake Kane from his comatose state. I bloody hope so, because I've put him back in my fantasy team and taken Ronaldo out in the hope that Harry Kane's got such a big Conte boner right now that he's going to score a hat-trick on Sunday.
I've been hoping that for weeks, Shan, when I put him in my bloody dreams. I was top of my family league, and then I took out Salah, put in Kane, and it's been a fucking disaster. But yeah, yes, hope he's back now.
definitely hope he's going to be back. But here's a good comment from HG. Right now, we have so much deadwood. I don't care if he signs a couple of duds. We've done that already.
Well, it's done more than a few, yeah.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, onto the Vitesse game. I think obviously there was the question of, do you reckon we're going to go full strength? I think the fact that Hugo did the press conference today indicates that we probably are going to see his trial start in 11 for the Everton game. What do you guys think? And what do you think we'll see? What formation do you think we'll play? What would your start in 11 be? I'm interested to know.
Jamie, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
Yeah, I can go. It's fine. I reckon he's going to play a full strength because I think the team you're going to see tomorrow will be the team on Sunday because he wants to see what they've kind of got. Hugo's, like you said, Hugo doing a press conference because normally it would have been Galini, wouldn't it, if he was going to do anyone else? So, but what I've been reading that he's been practicing 3-5-2. I think that's going to be the first start we're going to see that tomorrow. Obviously, if it doesn't work out, then obviously I don't know if we're going to see. I reckon. I don't know. I think 3-5-2 tomorrow. Kane and Son up front. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with.
Who
do you think you'll see in the defence and in the midfield? Because I think Son and Kane is nailed on, isn't it? They're nailed on, going to be the two up front. But who do you think we'll see?
If he's doing the three at the back, I think he might put one person that hasn't played. So I reckon it's going to be Roldan, Dyer, and Romero. That's right.
Not
I don't
Sanchez.
think. No, I think.
Did you put Dyer on the right or in the centre, and have Romero on the right?
I think Dyer's going to be in the centre, and I think Romero will be on the right.
Interesting.
Well, what do you think?
I think it could potentially, because I've also been doing some research today, Mark, and he likes to play at the right of the back three, like an Azpilicueta type player, like a hybrid right back that can play on the right of the three. So Tanganga would be perfect for that.
Yeah, actually,
he's got pace. So yeah, I think he'll be perfect on the right of the three, and I think he'll have Romero through the middle, and then either Dyer or Roden. I think it'll be Dyer for the experience to start with, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But I think that'll be the back three. I don't know what you think, Mark.
I agree with your back three. That's what I've written down. Yeah, Tanganga, Romero, and Dyer, I think.
Romero.
I watched the same video as you, Shan, on YouTube, where it talked about he's the back three likes to play. Yeah, he plays like a hybrid right back. He plays like a holding, typical traditional defender, and who could be Dyer potentially. I think we need to upgrade there, but anyway, that's a different story. And a ball playing defender, which could be Romero
Through the middle.
More than that, yeah. So that's what I would say on that one.
Just before we go on to the wing backs and the midfield, Gav, another super chat. Thank you so much. for your support as always. Conte will win us a trophy this year and get top 4. Then we'll challenge for the league next season and extend his contract.
I hope you're right, Gav.
How mental does this feel? Like, I fully agree with him. I think that's realistic. But just to think that when a couple of days ago I was walking up the high road after booing Nuno's subs and seeing what I saw, I never thought I'd be saying less than a week later that we could get top draw a trophy and challenge for the league next season.
We're starting to believe it's the Conte style. Let no one take it away from us.
No, definitely not. We definitely have right to be excited. Thanks, Gov, again for your support. We really appreciate it. Right. Wing backs, I think, pretty much choose themselves, don't they, Jamie?
It's definitely going to be Reggie and Emerson, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I know it sounds weird. I would love to see, like, if you took Emerson out, just put Lucas there because he's quick.
Mm.
So you got more of attack in if he was going to try that way. Because that's what I do
Even
with FIFA.
Bergwijn.
I'd prefer probably Lucas. He's probably quicker, and Lucas makes more of an impact than Stevie. That's why I play on FIFA anyway. That's why I seem to win with the Conte style 3-5-2 I tried today. So it's not too bad. But yeah, no, it's going to be Emerson and Reggie, and I think we're going to see the Reggie bombing because he's going to want to attack.
Oh,
and,
he's going to love it.
Because it was nice seeing him defend with Nuno, but I did miss that pace because he wasn't doing it at all. So I'm looking forward to seeing Reggie, and he might actually finally score. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that tomorrow.
He's come close quite a lot, hasn't he? It's just
It was the Chelsea game that we were at. Like, he had a chance to shoot, and he ended up passing it to Kane. And
That was a terrible decision. Terrible decision. Yeah.
If that went 1-0 up, I think we were going to win the game because we were all over him in the first half. And then when he done that, I was just like, typical Spurs.
Yeah. Used to be typical Nuno Spurs. It's
Yeah,
not going to happen anymore.
Nuno.
Yeah. Do you agree, Mark? Do you think it'll be Reggie and Emerson?
Yeah,
I don't think it's up for debate, is it?
No debate on that one. No debate at all. Yeah, it's pretty clear. I think, again, I won't profess to know anything about it, but I heard that Emerson at Real Betis, when he was on loan last season, played as a wing back. Reguilon, I think when he was at Seville on loan, played as a wing back as well. He's more of a wing back than a typical left back, isn't he? He likes to get forward, so they seem perfect for that role. Romero as well played in the back three at Atlanta. Going back to what we said at the beginning, it was. I do. Well, I said I don't feel sorry for Nuno. I do a bit because he played a three at the back for Wolves, and it almost seems as if he was told you can't play a back three here. And then we brought in Conte, who plays a back three, but we are quite suited to it. We'll come on to the midfield. I'm not. Again, if you watch the same video as me, I'm not sure with our midfield whether we are too suited to it for the way that he played at Inter anyway. But we'll come on to that.
Jamie, what do you think about the midfield?
Trying to think what I played on FIFA. I reckon Skippy ain't going to play tomorrow. I reckon he's the only one that's probably going to be dropped. So if we're going to go for 5, it's going to be Højbjerg and Dembele, Lo Celso. I reckon Dele's going to get a goal, tomorrow.
For who? Because obviously you've got, as part of that 5, you've got Reguilon and Emerson.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about those two. Okay, yeah, so don't worry. It's going to be Lo Celso and Dembele and Højbjerg. I can't see anyone else coming in.
I think it'll be Lo Celso and Ndombele and Højbjerg as well.
That's what I've got written down as well, but I'm just not. I have that written down, but I'm just not. So the video that I watched said he likes to play a holder in front of the back three. He likes to play like a number 10 type where he's playing Eriksen, and he likes like a box-to-box midfielder where he's playing Barella. I don't really think necessarily I wouldn't really say Lo Celso is box-to-box, and Ndombele isn't box-to-box for me, although I think that's what we were signing from Lyon. That's what I was told he was, but I've not seen him as a box-to-box midfielder. No. So, I think that's an area we're going to have to look at some point, to be honest with you.
That's where Kessie comes in January, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, I don't know a great deal about Kessie. My understanding is he's a holding midfielder that would play like the Højbjerg role, playing that defensive midfield. Whether he can play box to box, again, I don't watch too much of AC Milan. I don't know. But
speaking of box to box, though, we've also got Sarr, who is a number 8.
Yeah,
coming in as well.
Yeah.
And apparently he's fantastic prospect. I've seen him compared. I don't know where I've heard it, but to Yaya Toure. So there's your box to box. If he's a quarter of a player, half a player of Yaya Toure, they would be laughing. So let's hope that's one for next season for sure.
Definitely, 100%.
Absolutely. And then you've got your front two, which I think pick themselves. It's going to be Son and Kane.
Yeah,
100%.
That's not a bad starting 11. In that
it's good.
formation.
No,
But the worst thing is, like, we're saying how good it is. The minute that lineup gets released, someone's going to go, Conte out, he's playing Dyer again. Because it always happens every game, isn't it?
Yeah.
But no, like, I'm benefit doubt. I'm going to give everyone a fresh start.
I agree with you, Jamie. I said the same when Nuno come in, that when a new manager comes in, you've just got to start afresh, haven't you? And we've seen what Conte has done at different clubs where he's revitalized players and restarted their careers. We all know about Moses and Ashley Young playing for Inter Milan, winning the Scudetto at whatever he was, 35 or so. We've got to trust in the manager. If he thinks they're good enough, then we've got to give them a go. Whether it's Winks, whether it's Dele Alli. I know we touched on Dele Alli. I think I've given up on Dele Alli, but like you said, Jamie, I'll give him a new start. When Dele Alli was at his best was when Conte was at Chelsea, and he used to play well against Chelsea. So I think that Conte will remember that, and it's up to Dele Alli. Listen, we know how good Dele Alli can be, and he's the only one who can sort himself out, really. And if you've got a manager like that, you either want to work with this guy and let him get the best out of you, or you don't. And if you don't, he'll be shown the door.
No, I agree. Like, because Dele was the one that stopped Conte's unbeaten run, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he beat him 2-0. So
yeah. I was at the game. Two headers, weren't it?
2 headers from Eriksen's crosses. So.
It's time for everyone to disagree with Caller, as usual. I don't think we'll see Conte's hand until Sunday. Vitesse will be a mixture again. I don't think it will be. That's a must-win game now.
Caller, don't ruin the day. All right, I'm going to the game.
Yeah, I think it's a must-win. I think it's a must-win game as well, because I think I know everyone's getting very excited about top 4 and stuff. I am still reining it in a little bit because I think there is a bit of a mentality issue with this squad, and I think it will take him time to get it right. So I personally don't think top 4 for me this season. I think our best way. I do think we'll finish top 6 now. I think the easiest route would probably still. I need to have a think about that. I've always said at the beginning of the season, I said our best route into Europe or back into the Europa League would be to win the Conference League. Now with Conte, I might need to have a think about that, actually. I'll need to have a look at how many games you have to win, because I do think with this guy in charge, we'll definitely finish top 6 now.
Yeah.
So we might have to write off that cup now. I might have to revise my thinking on that one. I'm not used to him being there yet, so I'm not sure.
It's surreal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still, yeah.
At the end of the day, it's a European trophy, and he's going to want to win it, I think.
Yeah, I don't know whether it was Bob Spur said yesterday that, we'll be the first club. It might have been Rez. I can't remember. One of the two of them said we'll be the first club to be the winners of the first inaugural European competition, because we were with was it the UEFA Cup, and we will be with the Europa Conference League as well. So, and no one can say that. So
yeah, you'll never sing that.
You'll never ever sing that. So stick that in your pipe, West Ham.
I just want to see a Spurs Roma final. So Jose Conte.
Oh,
that would be.
That'd be the electric
touchline.
Just thinking.
Guys, we have got 210 of you watching and 99 likes. Caller apparently says that there's going to be entertainment when we hit 100 likes. I don't know what that will be. Anyone got any talents?
Maybe the caller should come on and do a little dance.
I'd love to see Caller do a little dance in his white linen suit that we found out that he has.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, soak it all in. But yeah, no, I think he'll take it seriously. It's a must-win game. We don't want to be coming out of the Conference League group stages when we've just got Conte as our manager. That would just be embarrassing. So
Yeah, everyone
definitely-
would say Conte's finished after that, after like just getting knocked out, wouldn't they? So, nah.
If he definitely is in charge tomorrow, I can't see. I agree with you, Shan. I think he'll want to win the game, win it convincingly, and he'll want to put his best team out that he's going to play against Everton. But
He'll
could
want to
be
make
wrong.
a statement, won't he?
I think so. Yeah, I think
True.
so, and a full crowd as well. A
Mm.
full capacity. That's amazing. That is amazing. To have that in the Conference League. You know, our fans are fantastic, and that just proves it. And I know, obviously, it has a lot to do with Conte. We wouldn't have as many if it was
Oh.
Nuno, and you can't blame them.
There'll be about 5 people in the south
yeah,
stand.
I was going to be there anyway. I had my ticket. A good friend of mine gave me his ticket, so I was always going to be there. But yeah, I'm buzzing for tomorrow. I think it's going to be Champions League type atmosphere for a Europa Conference game. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's my first experience of it under the lights in Europe as well. So
It's going to be cold, Shan. Trust you.
Yeah,
Make sure
that's
you
what I
got
mean. I'm going to
scarf.
go to the club shop and get a hat, I think.
The best game I've been to at the new stadium was Man City in the Champions League. That was so good, man. It was just the atmosphere. It's one of the best atmospheres I've been in. Not just at this new stadium. It was just electric. It was fantastic. So let's hope we got another one. It's not going to be as big, but it's big to have this new manager in. So, you know, the fans in full voice, everyone on the same page, everyone rejoicing. It's going to be a fantastic night. I can't wait.
It's going to be so loud tomorrow. I can't wait. I am buzzing.
Yeah.
Guys, if we get to 125 likes, I'm going to get Caller on to do a dance. I think that's fair, right? 225 watching and 226 now. Another 25 likes. Bob's your uncle. Will get Caller on to do a dance. That is how we operate in the cheese room. No, I'm honestly, I'm absolutely buzzing for this season now. If you would have asked me a week ago, I'd have been like, oh, we'll be lucky to get top 10.
Yeah, same.
The way things were going, yeah. I said at the beginning of the season, I think I said 7th, 8th, maybe. But now, yeah, I think definitely top 6. I do think that we're probably... I think Man United are stronger than us, and Liverpool, Man City, and Chelsea, they're stronger than us, but they've got Solskjaer in charge. You never know. You could sneak the top 4, but I don't know.
I don't think Manchester United will be stronger than us under Ole.
That's the problem. I think their squad, honestly, for me, that's as good as Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man City. On paper, I think they're the forwards they've got is just amazing. The midfield is pretty weak, but if they sorted that, but that's their issue. They've got Solskjaer in charge, and you know, if they'd have got Conte, I'm telling you now, they would have had a real chance of pushing for the title. Definitely.
I was going to say, going on that, do you think the reason why we rushed the Conte deal is just in case Oli got fired?
Yeah, I do, to be honest with you,
because it is very less than 24 hours, isn't it?
Yeah. It really was El Sacco, wasn't it? You know,
it was.
I do think that I do think that's a factor, because who else would we have? If we didn't get Conte, who else could we have got? Really, I mean, Potter wasn't going to come. We've gone through everyone else in the summer; they didn't come. If it's true what he said in his statement that it wasn't the right time for him to come in the summer, having just left Inter, perhaps they always knew that give him time. That's why we're only giving Nuno a 2-year contract. If things are going really well, we don't need to get rid of him. But if we do need to get rid of him, we don't have to pay him a huge amount of money. And we can go and ask Conte to come in. And when they heard that Man United was sniffing around, shit, we don't want to lose this guy to Man United. We better go and get him. Could be.
True.
Cynical Dad, I think, is right here. Once Conte gets our players playing his system, you know we're going to win more games than lose.
Yeah.
That's another unbeaten run, because I think he had like 13 games unbeaten run, didn't he, with Chelsea? So
we could do that if with the run of games we've got coming up. I know we've got Liverpool in there.
Yeah, at home.
But it's at home.
Yeah.
So they're all winnable games.
Yeah, it is a really favourable run for us. But again, it's just about how quickly he can change the mentality of some of them players, really.
This is funny. Poor Newcastle can't even attract arse casts off. Remember when he was being linked with the Newcastle job when Brucey was going to get fired?
Yeah, it's
They're
a
not
weird
going to
one.
attract anyone half decent. A, they're in a relegation dogfight. B, it could potentially affect that manager's reputation because of what the owners stand for. And C, they're shite.
Mm.
There's nothing to work with there, except you've got a couple of decent players there, but
Literally a couple. You've got
We've got some
Maxim
Callum
and Callum Wilson. They were terrible against us. They were terrible against us.
I would love Maximum at Spurs. I think he's brilliant.
He's a good player, but I really hope and pray that Newcastle go down.
Mm-hmm.
I do like Newcastle. I like Newcastle. I've always liked them. I like their fans. I think it's a fantastic city, but I pray to God they go down. I pray to God they go down. I really do.
The money they will lose is just with this owner as well. It'd just be hilarious.
It's just going to be hilarious. It really will. And again, it's not because it's Newcastle. It would be any club that had that takeover, and they would feel the same about us if we got that takeover. Any fan would. So it's not a personal attack on Newcastle. It's just it would be hilarious with all that money for them to go down to the Championship.
The problem is, this is where I think with the Spurs ownership, like with Newcastle, they've got these new owners in, but they just don't have a plan. They don't have a clue what they're doing. They've sacked Brucey. They don't know who they're getting in. Like, it's been farcical, really, to do that mid-season. And like they've got what's his face in charge, but he's doing worse than Brucey was.
Well, he's got one thing with Bruce. At least he had a lot of experience, and they've just got a guy in who, I mean, I've never heard of, to be honest with you. I know he's a Geordie and everything, but so is Steve Bruce. I mean, without a plan, why would you get rid of? I know he's not very good, but you just keep Bruce on. At least he's got experience. He knows the league. If you didn't got a backup, why are you getting rid of the guy? It just made no sense. It makes absolutely no sense at all.
I felt bad for Brucey as well. Like the way they were treating him, it just wasn't fair.
It's
like,
horrible.
I know we give our coach a stick, but the way they were doing it to him, it just wasn't acceptable.
It was personal, wasn't it? It
was. And when he came with that statement, he goes, "I'm glad my parents weren't alive to hear that because
that's disgusting."
I was like,
"It is disgusting."
No.
Gav, again with your super chat, thank you so much. You're a legend. How surprised will you be when we get Pogba on a free? How would Gleans feel? Glens?
Don't know. But he did get Pogba on a free for Juventus, didn't he? He was the manager that took Pogba from Man United when he was in, a youth team player. He was the one that actually took him over to Juventus. So I'm not saying we're going to get Pogba, but yeah,
would you take Pogba on a free?
He has done it before. No, I don't. I'm not a massive Pogba fan anyway, to be honest with you.
No, he did
play well under Conte.
Attitude problems.
He did play very well in Juventus. He was a fantastic player, but he's done for me. He's very hit and miss, isn't he? He's very hit and miss.
Yeah, no, he is. Depends what day you get him on, isn't it?
Yeah. We've already got Ndombele, we can't have Pogba as well.
God, one overpaid prima donna. don't need any more.
I feel bad for Ndombele because he's going to get shouted at a lot to start running a lot more, isn't he? So
I've seen a lot of people saying that. Again, we take things as gospel. I think like a lot of people saying, "Well, we wanted him at Inter Milan," just because there was a report saying he wanted him at Inter Milan. I've seen reports saying we were in for Messi in the summer. It doesn't mean it's fucking true because there are reports saying that he wanted him at Inter Milan. I cannot see him. I love Ndombele, or I love parts of what he does, and I think he's got all the makings to be one of the best midfielders in the world. But he just doesn't show it enough. And I cannot see him actually making it because Conte's going to demand, he's another Pochettino in terms of he'll get them doing double training sessions. I hope I'm wrong because he has everything to be a fantastic player for Tottenham. He could be our best player, but I cannot see it. I actually think Lo Celso could do really well under him because he's going to like Lo Celso. Lo Celso's got that bit of a niggle, he does all the theatrical, he seems like a Conte type player to me. Like I think also might be the one that really like catches fire under Conte. I'd love to say Yeah, I would love to say it would be undone better. I don't see it. A lot of people are saying, yeah, you want them at Inter. It'll be.
I don't think he will either. That was the first player I thought of when you think of lazy players. He's the first one I think of, and Ndombele. And lazy ain't going to work under Conte. But just looking at these comments, Sang Nuno is a good fit for Newcastle. I'd agree, but I think he needs time to.
Yeah,
I think he needs about a year out of football. He needs to get his head right again, I reckon. I think
he wasn't
after
happy, was he? He never seemed happy at Tottenham. He just did not seem happy. Didn't he leave Newcastle and when leave Wolves? And when he left, didn't he say that he needed a bit of a break from football? He needed to and I think the opportunity to come to Tottenham was too good to turn down. He couldn't turn that job down, and I think that's why he came in. But yeah, he never looked happy. He didn't seem as though he was that bothered about being there. It's just very dull. I think, he probably needs a break. I can't see him going straight into another job, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I said the same thing on Tommy's channel. But he just needs a break.
Definitely, I'd agree. Please just get rid of Winks, Davies, Dyer, and Delhi, and we can progress, please. The problem is all these players are homegrown. Homegrown players don't grow on trees. What do you guys think? Do
you know what? I don't think Davis and Dyer are actually. Dyer definitely isn't homegrown because he come from Portugal. He's not classed as homegrown.
I think Davies is classed as homegrown because he's Swansea, isn't he? And they're part of the.
I think in Europe for some reason he isn't classed as homegrown.
In the Premier League,
he is. Yeah, and Dyer, who is English, isn't because he comes from Sporting Lisbon, which is a weird one. But you're right, we can't. That's the problem. We can't get rid of all of them at the same go because you're right, Shan. Because if we get rid of them all, we're going to have to bring in British homegrown players. And you can't just play your youth team players because I think it's under 21, under 23. If they're under 21, I think they don't.
They're just classed as under 21
anyway. Yeah, so it's a difficult one. It's a difficult balancing act, isn't it? You just can't get rid of them all at the same time without bringing in other players.
It's true, and like English people, they're the more expensive than everyone else.
Yeah.
Who
do you think realistically we could get in as English that could improve our starting 11?
I'd love to see Ward-Prowse. That's the one person I'd love to see come in.
That's a realistic buy.
That's where it is now, yeah. But he just signed a 5-year contract, but money talks, doesn't it? So that's one person I'd love to see come in.
What do you think, Mark?
I've never really thought about it. I'd have to have a think about that one. I'd love to have seen Ings in the summer, but obviously that one's not going to happen now.
Ollie Watkins?
Ollie Watkins would be a good alternative to Kane, wouldn't he? Put a bit of pressure on Kane. I wanted him when he left Brentford, when he went to Villa. He's another one I would have liked to have seen. Would you have Tarkowski at Burnley? I don't think he's a bad defender, but I'd probably want something a little bit better. But if you needed to get British players in, he's not a bad one. I don't know, to be honest with you, Shan. I'd have to have a think. I'd have to have a good think about that one.
I think Craig said something. Gallagher, Palace.
Gallagher.
He's from Chelsea, isn't he? I can't see Chelsea selling. He's on loan from Chelsea, and I can't see them selling to us.
It'd be a crazy amount of money.
Lamptey, I like Lamptey at Brighton. Another ex come through the Chelsea youth team system. I really like the look of Lamptey.
Do you know what we do need? I don't think Doherty and Davies really have a future at Spurs, do they? I think they're another two that will probably be gone. I think we do need another left back and another right back. So Lamptey would be perfect.
I'd love to see Lamptey. I'd love to see Lamptey at Tottenham. That's
and then another left wing back.
Get Danny Rose back. Yeah, I don't know on that one. There's plenty of players around. I need to have a think. But yeah, as I say, we can't get rid of all of our homegrown players in one window. It just wouldn't be possible. We wouldn't have enough players left. So,
do you know what? I actually forgot about Cess.
I talked about him. I talked about him last night on Tommy's thing. I think he could be one actually that could really progress under. As a wing back. If he got the best out of him, I mean, it was fantastic at Fulham, wasn't he? 3 years ago, he was the biggest prospect English prospect in the game. He was the biggest prospect in the game. So
He's just always injured, though, isn't he? I don't know what's going on.
No, he is. But do you remember Bow? Like when Bow first came to Tottenham, he was always injured. He was another like prospect. And again, we didn't win all them games when Bow was there, and then he just suddenly caught fire. He could be, you don't know, he could be another one under Conte that could suddenly be fantastic for us. So another homegrown player. So there you go. There's another one.
There's this as well. Bin Galini and get the West Brom keeper. There are heavy links, but then we're also linked with Martinez, weren't we?
Sam Johnson, again, English, homegrown. Would he want to come to us and sit on the bench under Hugo?
Hugo leaves at the end of the season.
If Hugo does leave, I don't know whether Hugo will leave. That it depends on that, doesn't it? I don't think Galini, for me, well, from what I've seen, it isn't good enough to be our number one keeper.
No, I did say Galini would be our number one, so I put my hands up. But every time I've watched him, he's conceded every game he's played. So
no, he hasn't. Burnley.
Yeah, Burnley.
Oh, did he play?
Yeah.
I don't remember much of that game. Okay, yeah, one clean sheet out of all of them.
Yeah. And it was Burnley, so
yeah, I don't remember Burnley doing much, to be fair. But...
yeah.
Jack Clark is doing really well for the under-23s, set up both goals for Markande against City. I'll tell you what, we have got a good crop of young players coming through, but it's the hearing. If we want to get rid of all these English deadwood players, we have to get quality ones in.
Markande is very good.
Markande is very
I like
good.
It. Jack Clark, I think it's time for him to move on.
Yeah, I don't think he'll ever make it at Tottenham, Jack Clark, unfortunately for the lad.
That was a random signing anyway, weren't it? It was
an odd one, yeah. It was an odd one. I didn't know whether he had good report because Pochettino, it was under Pochettino, wasn't it? And I don't know whether Bielsa sort of said, "Oh, there's a good kid," and they've just kept an eye. I don't know, but it was a weird one. He was doing well in the Championship. Then didn't he have?
He had he fainted, didn't he?
Yeah, something. Yeah, that's right. And he never sort of come back to be the same as what he was before. So whether that's affected him, don't know.
Yeah. It's definitely a tough one. Right. Thanks, guys, everyone, for your comments. But we've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. I'm going to take your predictions for tomorrow. Jamie, what do you think the score's going to be?
I think we're going to be the 12th man tomorrow. So I'm going to go 3-0 Spurs.
Mark?
That was my prediction as well, but I don't want to copy Jamie. So I'll say 4-0.
That was my prediction.
You'd have to say 5-0.
I'll go 5-0. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Please do make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, comment, interact. We're all on Twitter. Obviously, you can see all our bits here. Jamie, thank you so much for joining us.
No worries. Happy to be here.
Lovely. Mark, where can we find you?
Well, yeah, Motion Pod, but I don't actually run that account. That's my friend Gareth that runs that because we do a podcast together. But if you go there, you'll see my handle, so you can follow me on there if you can be bothered.
Thanks, guys, for joining me. It's been good fun. It's been good to actually talk about something positive for once. And on that note, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.